The IU football team was looking to steal lucky number 6 from the Michigan State Spartans as they traveled up to East Lansing last weekend. A win would give the Hoosiers eligibility to make their first bowl game since 1993, when they played in the Independence Bowl. The Spartans were coming off an overtime loss to Northwestern and seemed more vulnerable than ever. No more waiting, let's go to the highlight for this one. The Indiana Hoosiers take on the Michigan State Spartans, their homecoming underneath the lights, Big Ten Network. First field goal of the game. Nope, it's not. It's a fake. Freshman Aaron Bates fakes the field goal, gets the first down. He's a happy little punter, he is, and he just got his team close to the end zone. Jehu Colcrick, 1-yard TD, 7-0 Spartans. There'll be much more of that later in this game. IU, very first play from scrimmage, Kellen Lewis takes off. The man is fast. Nobody is going to catch him. He takes it to the house. Wait for it. Oh, no flip. Slap hands, just as good. IU ties it up 7-7. The duo running backs killed Indiana all day. Javon Ringer takes off to the outside. Nobody's going to catch him. 29 carries, 203 yards for 2 touchdowns. 24-10 Spartans, 64-yard run by Ringer. IU would try to strike back. Kellen Lewis drops back, feels the pressure, launches a bomb to my man James Hardy, number 82. 6 catches, 121 yards, 1 touchdown on the day for the big man, but IU would need more. Austin Starr, 11 straight field goals, makes it 13-24 with his 47-yard field goal. Michigan State's offense too good for the IU defense on this day. Hoyer drops back, launches a bomb to wide receiver Devin Thomas. Whoops, I got it. 13 for 48 for 140 yards, 1 touchdown for Thomas. Lewis drops back, doesn't see him coming, the ball pops loose, 5 sacks on the day. Number 51, Irvin Baldwin, takes it in the end zone. Michigan State denies Indiana of their 6th win of the season, 52-27 Spartans. So the Hoosiers' second loss of the year comes by a 25-point margin. IU was beaten in just about every stat category in this game. They were outgained offensively 558 to 193 yards. MSU ran for 368 yards while the Hoosiers mustered just 22. IU converted just 1 third down to the Spartans' 8. Michigan State doubled the Hoosiers in time of possession. The list goes on and on. So IU will have to look to get win number 6 next week at home as they take on the Penn State Nittany Lions in the most important homecoming game in 14 years. Let's send it back to East Lansing with a feature story from Patrick Hurley.
We only had 14 plays from scrimmage. In the first half, we didn't have a chance to get going.
Aside from a 59-yard Kellen Lewis touchdown scamper coming on IU's first play from scrimmage, the Spartan defense would hold the explosive Hoosier offense to a mere 134 yards the rest of the game.
There were times when the tackling wasn't what it needs to be, and we can correct that. I'm sure there were times when we didn't have enough faces in the gaps. That's all part of it when you give up that many yards.
Failing to run the ball and without a balanced attack, Indiana simply could not mount an offensive.
They were running, pounding offense, which means they're going to use up most of the time, and we just couldn't get in sync in the first half. And they tried to make a statement, and we just ended up getting on the short end of the stick. This is a program that haven't even took this step in 15 years, and it's not going to be handed to us, and it's not just going to be given.
That's why at halftime we went in thinking, well, maybe we come out and continue that, and we knew we were going to get the ball to start second half and all that, but we didn't move it, and they just kept pounding away at us.
And it didn't help matters that Michigan State rushed the ball for 368 yards and possessed it for 41 minutes. From East Lansing, Michigan, I'm Patrick Hurley, Hoosier Sports Night.
1966 couldn't have been more different for coaches Joe Paterno and Brett Bielema, who were facing each other last weekend. It marked Paterno's first season at head coach at Penn State. Bielema probably had kindergarten on his mind. He was 4. The teams matched up for one of the most anticipated Big Ten games last weekend. Wisconsin had the longest winning streak until last week's defeat at Illinois, and they headed into Saturday's game knowing they had their work cut out for them, as most visitors leave Happy Valley unhappy. So a battle of the old and new in this Big Ten Conference matchup. First play of the game from scrimmage for Wisconsin. The handoff goes to P.J. Hill. Knocked loose. Sean Lee recovers. Penn State getting the early stop defensively. Set up the tone offensively as well. They score on that drive. 10-0 now. Wisconsin again goes to P.J. Hill up the gut for a touchdown. 10-7 your score. It's as close in the ballgame as Wisconsin would get. Tyler Donovan with the ball at the start of the second quarter now, looking deep. The ball is tipped from the receiver and intercepted by Liddell Sargent. Gets the big stop for Penn State. Trying to capitalize now on that turnover, Anthony Morelli drops back from the 30-yard line, finds Dion Butler 29 yards into the end zone for the score. Really all Penn State all afternoon in Happy Valley. Now looking to put this ball game away. A 3-yard run to Rodney Kelly up the middle for the score. 31-7. Penn State thumps Wisconsin. Penn State now 5-2 and 2-2 entering Saturday's game in Bloomington.
With over half the season now under wraps, the IU football team returns home this week. The Hoosiers will host Penn State for the homecoming game on Saturday, with kickoff scheduled for noon. The team will then travel to Wisconsin next week to take on the Badgers. IU will welcome Ball State on November 3rd for their last non-conference game of the season. The Hoosiers then go back on the road November 10th in a face-off against longtime rival, the Purdue Boilermakers.
It was a wild weekend in college football with upsets all around. Here to tell us about it is our own Mark Kaplan with the rundown.
Thanks, guys. This weekend was another glorious weekend of college football. Let's get right to it, which is the biggest game of the week, the #1 ranked LSU Tigers versus 17th ranked Kentucky Wildcats. Andre Woodson goes for the pass, and there's a little tip drill, but still caught for the touchdown. Now LSU up 3 when Charles Scott gets the toss, a little razzle-dazzle, as he scores for the touchdown. Now they're up 13 when Andre Woodson throws this bullet to cut the lead to 6. And after 2 Kentucky field goals, we go to overtime. Triple overtime, that is. LSU 4th and 2. They need 2 yards. They get nothing as Kentucky wins 43-37. Now #2 leading California Golden Bears took on Oregon State. And Justin Forsett gets the ball, bounces in, bounces out for their 7-yard touchdown, put them up 1. But the Oregon State would answer when Vincent Bernard goes up and away for the 1-yard touchdown. Now California needs a big play. And right here, Lavelle Hawkins gets the pass, and he actually also got an invitation to the end zone, which he RSVPs yes for the 64-yard touchdown to put Cal within 3. That's where we are, 14 seconds to go. No timeouts. What do? They're going to throw it? No. He decides to run. I don't know why, but he gets stopped. And just like that, the game is over as Oregon State beats the #2 ranked team in the land, California Golden Bears. Now, that means that there has to be another #2 team in the land. That team is University of South Florida Bulls. This team is legit. They beat University of Central Florida 64-12 this weekend. They're 6-0 in the Big East. They beat Auburn, West Virginia, and they don't really have that many more opponents except for basically Cincinnati and Louisville. Speaking of those 2 teams, we got them right here. They played this weekend. Here's the highlight. There's 0-0, and Dominic Goodman makes like his name as he gets the pass and goes in for the touchdown, which is good. They put him up 7-0, but Brian Bauman answered. He doesn't like to sew, but right here he threads the needle to tie the game. Now 21 apiece. Louisville 3-yard touchdown run, and that's all they needed is they beat the Cincinnati Bearcats 28-24. Now the BCS polls just came out, and let's take a look at some of the teams. Ohio State is #1 team, followed by, there they are, the South Florida Bulls at #2. There's a few shockers in there. South Carolina at #6. And believe it or not, Arizona State Sun Devils at #8. I'm Mark Kaplan, and that was the rundown.
All right, good stuff, Mark. Coming up after the break, the men's and women's soccer teams both in action over the weekend, with the ladies trying to extend their unbeaten streak to 13.
And the women's volleyball team was looking to break a 2-game losing streak as they hosted Northwestern Wildcats. You're watching Hoosier Sports Night on IUSTV.